think I like this girl.
The subject is I think I like this girl, and we have Lecrae in the house.
Yes, sir.
All right. So oftentimes people, both male and female, often have a misconception of the word love and feelings.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up, I had these misconceptions true. Could you please tell us, does love equal feelings? Does feelings equal love?
Okay.
What do you think?
So the thing is that in a way to simply answer this question, I think that there's feelings in love. But love doesn't necessarily have anything to do with feelings. In fact, a more better way to explain it is that feelings are the results
Of love.
So the commitment you put into investing love, what you will reap is feelings. And it's very dangerous to put feelings, equate feelings with love, because you can
Feelings fluctuate.
It fluctuates. You can feel anything about anything. You can wake up and not stop feeling like a man. You can wake up and feel hatred for the person who
there are people out there in some countries who are identified as goats.
Exactly.
As dogs, because they feel that way.
Feeling.
They
sincerely feel that way. Yeah. So love is diligence, commitment.
Yeah, you can't trust feelings, but you can trust.
You can. So it's just about deciding. So if you want to define love, you say, I've decided. And I like to think that it's a more noble way for us to respond to relationships. Because if you say I love you, you are saying that I've decided on you, or I've decided to be by you, to be with you, to be for you.
Of many options, I chose you.
So it's more noble. You can tell that this is what you have decided and you are committed to it. And by the time you do that, the result of that investment, emotional investment, will now be the feelings that you enjoy.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. Now, you mentioned somewhere, and I think the 4th chapter or so, that the tendencies of one marrying his or her besties is 0.0009%. And I had to be very intentional about the amount of zeros in it, because that would mean out of every 10,000 humans, only 9 people make it to the on marriage stage. And so while it is important that we maintain a level of friendship growing up with the opposite sex, for teenagers we personally, I think there should have some boundaries to their friendship, because the teenage age is where feeling starts to skyrocket and all of that. So please, could you suggest some boundaries for the teenagers listening?
Okay. So I don't know if it was even this particular chapter, but further in the book, I said something about Paul's admonition to Timothy. So my philosophy is that a woman can be only 3 things to a man. It's either she's his sister, she's his mother, or she's his wife. And God is the one who is giving this idea, because Paul was talking to Timothy and said, treat the younger ladies as your sister.
So even though they're your friends, you should see them as sisters.
And so if you see a woman as your sister,
there's safety in that,
There's safety. You're safe, because anything you're not going to do with your sister.
you ain't going to do it. No, definitely.
Yes, sir. So that's a summary way to approach to relate with the opposite sex as a young man, or as for a lady also relating to. If you see, and the good part is that you are going to the way I talked about the noble idea of deciding upon love, that's the same thing that plays out here, because you are going to be relating to people with genuineness. So the day that this sister relationship is going to translate to a romantic relationship, you are not going to love this person alone as a stranger that you are just you just meet on the road and try to show commitment to.
There's already a foundation.
There's a foundation, and it's family love. You know how family love can be very deep. So you know that this person is not just a spouse that you are just trying to show favor and show mercy in this relationship. You are treating this person as your own blood. So at the end of the day, you are going to be marrying your sister.
You actually become one. Abraham did that with Sarah.
You get.
Alright, so let's not go there. Alright, so Lecrae, I always tell people that only God has the capacity to be all-knowing. And we are not meant to be all-knowing. And there is a burden that comes with trying to play God.
Exactly.
A very huge burden for that matter. So there's a place in your book you said too much experience stresses the soul. I don't know if I quoted that right.
Yes.
So please tell us about that in a minute.
Okay, so just like you said, man was not created to be to be all knowing, and the more you know everything, the more you want to know, and the more stressed your soul will be, because your soul was not positioned to receive every information. You know what the Bible says about in all your gettings?
Yeah, get wisdom.
Get wisdom. It means that a lot of things are reaching you, but there are some things that are important. So it's better for you to mind your business in terms of protecting your soul. Because the more experience you have, especially as it relates to relationship, because in that context I was talking more about exes, and being in past relationships. If I give an example of the fact that somebody who has been around the 20, I just 24. I was talking about the guy who has kissed 24 women.
24 people.
His brain is not normal again. It's different. By the time he meets his wife, it's different, because if he kisses that woman and he's asking himself that, is this the best way to kiss? Is this the best kiss I've had in the last 24 years?
Am I doing it right? Or is she receiving it right?
Exactly. So you are thinking about, but the other guy who's just coming here, this innocence, this ignorance is a bliss for him, because the way he will respond to this thing, that you say, why is this kiss not? He doesn't know that it's sweet or not.
There's a saying that goes, your first should be your best.
You get, but by the time you have
that comes with innocence.
Exactly. So there are places where ignorance is not bliss, but one of the places where ignorance is bliss is here. The less you know, the more you appreciate.
So let me cut you on
In
that.
fact, let me stop you here. I'm saying one more thing. I said something about. I can't say this again.
Continue.
I said something about judgments. I was saying that the idea of too much experience in stressing the soul is that it's going to tamper with your seat of judgment. Because when you know too much, you consider a lot. So you have too many options. So it's not easy for you to decide upon love, like I said earlier when we were talking about the difference between being in love and thinking that this love is based on feelings.
All right. So somewhere in this chapter that you just talked about, you said something about you disagreeing with the idea of sexual compatibility, and could you just break down on it a little bit?
Okay. So I was talking about too much experience in stressing the soul.
Yeah.
When I was saying that this is the reason why there are new generation ideas about a lot of things, and one of those loud ideas is the idea of sexual compatibility. So my argument is that you are trying to find out who suits you best
Sexually.
So you are on a journey. So if you
Taste.
meet of tasting and tasting, if you meet partner A and you are not compatible enough, you have to go to partner B.
Yeah.
You have to
All the way to Z.
C, D, all the way to Z. But you see, something is happening during that journey or that sojourn. You are no longer the person that you were with partner A. You are no longer the person that you are now that you are with partner J. So a lot of things are happening with you that is not leaving you the same after finding out the things you found. So you actually really find out something.
And let me pause you there. It might not necessarily be spiritual.
It doesn't have to be.
It could be emotional.
Yes,
it could be
psychological because you are experiencing people, and like I said earlier, this thing is about tampering with your sense of judgment. As a human being in your right condition, you are supposed to be able to judge things at a level, and that level you have to be sane to do it. So I'm not saying you're going to run mad after blowing around, but you will have too many. You'll be encumbered with too many things. Spiritually, psychologically, you'll be stressed, and that's why it's titled too much experience stress. So because your soul is not supposed to be strained, it's supposed to be in a state where it can accommodate information, process it beautifully, and bring out results. But because of the misinformation around you, you will not be able to draw the right conclusions. And at the end of the day, you will not be a fornicator.
Do you know the children that grew up with an abusive father has the tendencies of becoming abusive?
Exactly.
The same way when you get into a relationship that's abusive,
exactly,
you tend to see everybody as being abusive.
Yeah, I know what they say about people not seeing the world the way it is. They see the world the way
they have experienced.
And the way you are, it's experience.
Yeah, true.
It's experience. What you have experienced, what you have seen severally.
So yeah, I lost my father the year I became a teenager, and firsthand I can tell you that pain leads us to a place where we start to find comfort outside of the Holy Spirit.
That's true.
And at that point we start to idolize things.
Yes.
For some people, they idolize alcohol, they idolize weed. For me, it was pornography at that very tender age. And it messed with a lot up here. until God started to help me.
Yes,
So I'm creating this context so that our viewers would understand that they are not just the only one going through wherever they're going through. We've had our own share, and so you spoke about lost in the latter chapters of this book, but I'm going to bring it up now. So please tell us about lost, and have you had any experience with lost, and how was the journey for you?
So in that particular chapter, I was talking about how the battle of loss is a real battle, and how how this is tied to connectors. So I was saying that, just like you said about losing your dad and what led you there, there's always something that draws you, and also the action is as a result of a desire. So for me, I cannot typically say that I suffered something like that, but I will not say that I did not have an experience.
Let me create a context for you in that scenario. A senior student came to charge his phone in our house, and then innocently, I knew nothing about pornography at that point.
And that's how it always happens. So I give my own story.
But then this is me going through his Symbian phone to just play games, and then boom, I come across this. I see it for 10 seconds. Oh, it's irritating. And then we have that part of our brain, the feel good part of our brain that still wants to return back to what they enjoy and all of that. And then boom, I kept going. As a matter of fact, I was praying for him to bring Oh, I'm listening to you.
Alright. So the first time I ever saw something that looked like porn, how old was I? Maybe 13 or so.
Initiation.
Yes. I went to Google and I was searching. It was either TD Jakes or TB Joshua. I remember I saw something happened within a day. Somebody said something.
There's a T.
Yeah, there was a T. Yes, there was a T. So I went online and I searched one of the names. So when I think it was TB Joshua, because when I searched it, I started seeing options like there was a video of deliverance session. So there's a particular girl that the deliverance was happening for that she had a demon, and the demon was sexual demon. I don't know. It was a demon that had to do with, it had to do with immorality. So when I clicked that video, I know that I saw options of something that I have not seen before. And the first thing now is that I'm so surprised how that video was connected. I don't know what the connection was, but that's exactly what happened. It's
social media for you.
Now, just like it happened to me, when I saw it, I was like, what's this? And I can't make any sense of it because I've not experienced this kind of thing before. But this is what I want to explain now when I was talking about connectors. I want to think that what saved me that day was not discipline. Because when I say what saved me, I don't mean that I did not sit in so boy. You know this kind of way you sit in what's happening here? What's happening now? What's happening? So you are innocent as a young person. You are trying to make sense of this, and because you are a human being and you have emotions, you are understanding those things in split seconds.
So many thoughts rushing through.
And this is why I was talking about too much experience. Just imagine that this happened to you on your first day. Imagine what happens to you when you are living in an environment like this. So of course I got irritated just like after and I left. But what happened to me was that because it was the first time and I was far from something like that, I was doing something like that for the first time, I rationalized it. Like, what is happening here? But it did not lead me to what was the English now? To indulge consistently, because I was far from it. In fact, after that time now,
you had never had that experience.
Yes, and I was at the time I had the phone, but I think I didn't have the phone shortly after that again. So it took time before the next time I saw something like that was the kind of thing happened to you or somebody's phone too. This thing that I see happening is. But what I'm trying to say here is that I made sense of addiction in that season. Because this is what happened to me. I was giving somebody an example recently of the first time that I ever realized that a girl was a girl. That happens to you now. Like you can be 12 years, not to concern you. I don't see boy playing football. You don't love your man. You.
Matter of fact, they tell you he's your wife.
You say you get angry. You be crying. No, I don't like me. I don't like her. You're growing up, my boy. You also like her. So you just realize that maybe you are 17, then you are realizing that women are different from men.
The physiology.
Yes.
And yeah, it's changing.
And it's changing. So what happened to me that in that season, one of those days I saw a lady and I felt the need to look at her again. I wanted to look at her again. But when I tried, I not to myself that no, I won't look at her, casually. But I now started feeling like if
And then you looked.
No, I wanted to delay, but yes, I looked. I wanted to delay it so that it be like I did not look, but so that day I got thinking, I was like, something is strange here because that never occurred to me that I could be in that kind of space. So it started making sense to me that you can be in a situation where you don't want to do things, but you are forced to do them. And most times, what strengthens that decision you finally make is a relationship from somewhere.
The connector.
A connector, and that's the thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you have not seen porn before, the way you respond to the first day you see it will be different from the way you respond to
The second time, you become weaker.
You become weaker. So the way to stay stronger, safe, is to stay further.
Yeah. Bible says flee.
Flee. Because the world we are living today, you interface with. We are talking about how we went on with people's phones and found porn. You don't need to go to anybody's phone to find porn. If you're on Facebook, you see porn.
You
If you're
can
on
be
Twitter, you see
you can
porn.
be searching on Google, watching a message.
They
and
will
it
give you
pop up.
ads.
Yeah.
Soap adverts, porn. Car adverts, porn. Music videos, porn. So it's not a matter of going to search for it again.
Yeah.
That's why
It's all before you.
Yeah, that's why you will need to guard your heart. And guarding your heart is about distancing. That's what I believe it is. And distancing is the idea of distance is that the more away you are, the more you engage with the right connectors.
Based on how I'm feeling, I am not even kidding. She for the reason I'm considering living my parents' house for the cricket. I like this girl based on how I'm feeling.